There have been days where I've worked on my business for 6, 8, sometimes even 10 hours a day, and virtually got almost nothing done. And that's something I had to learn the hard way. Being busy and making progress are two completely different things. It's really easy to think that, oh, if I worked 8 hours today or 10 hours today on my business, then I had a productive day, when in reality, it's really the quite opposite. You know what I mean? Sometimes you can just sit there and be doing stuff that actually does not mean a single thing to forwarding you in your business, right? And it's very easy to think that social media reinforces it 24/7, right? Oh, I worked 12 hours on my business today, and now I got this much done. If you're not doing it too, then you're not really working hard. It's so easy to think that, and just you need to turn that switch off. Social media sometimes can be the worst thing for you with anything, right? It reinforces a lot of bad habits when you want to, or just with working in general. Those long hours feel impressive. I worked 12 hours today. Oh my gosh, that's so long, and I did it. But if you maybe had 2 hours of focused long work, of you sitting there and actually doing something that was meaningful and it was focused, no distractions, right? You probably could have got more done than we needed in that 8 or 10 hours of working, right? And sometimes it's not social media. Sometimes it's like a switch in your brain, right? If you stop working, you feel guilty, right? You need to be working on it, or you're not doing it right? No, sometimes you need to give yourself that break, like I said in my last video. This grind culture that we've established can actually just exhaust you way quicker than if you just, locked in for a bit, give yourself a break, and locked in for a little longer, you know what I mean? There's one core problem with being busy, right? It's like being that fake busy, you know what I mean? Checking your ads constantly, tweaking something on your website that doesn't even matter. Reorganizing your calendar, researching another strategy to run ads, watching business stuff, researching competitors, changing things because you're bored, planning instead of actually executing, right? You're just sitting there planning what you're gonna do instead of just doing it, right? It's okay to plan. I'm not saying don't plan. I'm saying plan something, plan one thing at a time, right? Plan, okay, I'm gonna make more ads. Go make the ads. All right, I'm gonna make more ads, I'm gonna do this. No, make the ads, go make the ads, or plan to make the ads, go make the ads, plan something else, do that, and repeat it, right? Don't sit there and, okay, I'm gonna do this, and this, and this, and this, and this, and this. No. Focus on the task at hand, right? One thing at a time. Don't plan a bunch of things at once, and then you probably won't even end up doing any of them because you're just planning, right? It's just being like that fake busy, you know what I mean? Actually do the stuff that you plan on doing, right? Plan one thing and then do it. It's pretty simple. I know it's easier said than done, but plan, do, plan, do, plan, do. Repeat that cycle. Let me give you a real example from me, right? Let's see. I think a good example is making ads, actually. There are times where I will sit there for hours and hours and hours and planning on concepts, on ways to put the hook, add copy, and I'll sit there and just plan all, right? Instead of actually making the ad. Why not just make the ad? If it doesn't look good or something I can tweak about, then tweak it, right? I shouldn't be sitting there playing, oh, this could be good or this could be good. If the ad doesn't come out to what I want it to be, it's easy. Just tweak the ad, right? I want you guys to picture something. We're gonna have day A, we're gonna have day B. Day A, you worked for 9 hours. You checked ads 15 times, you changed your plan, you started an ad, you watched videos, you researched competitors, and you tweaked the website. What is your actual results of that day, though? Your results of that day? You had one unfinished ad. Now day B. Day B, you only worked for 2 hours. But you made 4 ads, you launched your campaign, and you filmed a video. Right? You only worked for 2 hours, though. But you got 3 very important things done that day. Which day is actually moving you forward, and which is just trying to look busy? And I don't want you guys to think that working long I'm not saying don't work long hours or don't work hard. Sometimes it absolutely is necessary. Sometimes things do take that long, right? Deadlines happen. There are times we generally need to lock in for 10 hours a day, right? But the hours themselves aren't the accomplishment. It's what you got done within that time frame, right? So if you actually needed to work for 10 hours that day, then work, right? If you actually needed to delegate that time, that's okay. I'm not saying don't work hard or don't work for long times. Sometimes it's absolutely necessary for that to happen because, maybe you have a deadline for your client, or, maybe something needs to be done by a certain time, or you just want to get it done in one go. That's okay. But, make sure to give yourself breaks and all that too. But I'm not saying don't work hard, or sometimes don't work long. You know what I mean? You're probably wondering, what is there a solution to this? Is there like a way to fix this? And it's just creating progress, right? Think of a high leverage task in your business, right? For an example, is making a new ad, launching a testing campaign, analyzing my actual results from my real ads, improving an important part of the funnel, right? Maybe that's the problem section or reviews of actual customers, or maybe something got messed up in my liquid code from my website, right? Something actually that's gonna impact my business, right? Filming content from my YouTube channel, fulfilling orders from people I've ordered, talking to, maybe a customer had a problem, stuff like that. Now think of low leverage stuff. Changing a button color, right? Maybe my add to cart button, I don't like that color. No. Reorganizing a folder, right? Maybe, my content, I need to have it. No. My content, well, no. Just have the content in the folder, right? Checking the same stats repeatedly. Maybe I'm going back and analyzing all my stats, right? Sometimes you just need to focus on the important analytics. And then endlessly researching, this is the biggest thing. Don't sit there and research better new things. No. Stick with the same thing that you've been doing. And if you notice that it's not working, then maybe tweak it, but don't sit there and keep researching a better way to do something when you don't even know if the way that you're doing it right now even works to begin with. You know what I mean? Now, I'd say this applies to more than just business, right? This is more of a broad standpoint opinion, I feel like. This is also about having time for more than things than just your business, right? Allocate more time to the gym, sleeping your friends and family, just yourself in general. And you don't have to feel guilty about every time you want to take a break. Which is exercise you can do. Get a piece of paper, write what moved forward today. Write how many hours did I work, and then write down what actually got done and did it move me forward. Did I launch something? Did I create something? Did I learn something from an actual idea? Did I finish something? What actually moved you forward that day? I don't really want to measure my days in hours anymore. I want to measure them in how much progress I make to forward myself. Because you can work 12 hours a day and actually get nowhere, and then you spend one focused hour a day instead and accomplish so much more. Hours does not equal progress. Focus and execution equal results, right? It's pretty simple. So remember, one focused hour is better than 12 hours of random work that you're just doing. Pick a task and get it done, and then move on. Stop planning a bunch of stuff and then not ever doing it. Have a good one, get your work done, and give yourself that time.